speak to that if we want to stop at this point, because I think that's a very valid point that needs to be discussed.
All right, go ahead.
What Mr. Simmons was referring to, special event signs, there's a sign currently at the Party Market site for a cancer event that's professionally done. I am wondering why we're exempting government property when we have regulations for residential, for agriculture, for commercial, for heavy or industrial. I'm also aware that these type of signs were taken down immediately after the ordinance was passed or recommended by the Planning Commission on Mr. Azevedo's property. They were taken and put into a trash can, and then when Mr. Azevedo complained about it, or his son complained about it, they were returned to him. One of them was California Waterfowl Association sign. The problem that I have is we see a lot of signs around town advertising Little League, advertising soccer signups, the cancer type of thing. There is nothing within this ordinance that addresses that. I think that's a shortcoming of the ordinance, and I'd like to have it sent back to the Planning Commission specifically for that. But I mean, we're still supposed to be taking public comment, but I wanted to give the public a chance to comment on that. I don't want to bring it up after we close down public comment.
Any other comments? Yes, Mr. Besney.
Thank you. Dane Besney, 328 East A Street. I have several problems with this proposed ordinance. The first one being the nominal fee, which seems to be the mantra of city staff these days. Nominal fee. 30 bucks, that's all it is, 30 bucks to get a permit to put up a A-frame sign to pencil that you have a sandwich special for the day. As you said, Mr. Mayor, furniture stores going out of business, so their signs may not be a problem for long. Gabriella's went out of business, the Hacienda Grill went out of business. Places are going out of business. City staff's recommendation is we'll let them put a sign up as long as our sign person, our person who is given authority to decide whether it's professionally done or written with a grease pencil that he doesn't like, can pay the fee to be done. We don't need a sign Nazi in Dixon. We don't need that. Okay? We don't need another fee for small businesses. There's plenty wrong with what's being proposed here. Okay? What about the Mayfair signs? What about those trailer signs that they put out by Midway Road? When that's within the city limits and they advertise the bands that are coming, that's just like Mr. Short's sign. It's a trailer. They paint the sign, they drag it down the street with a tractor, and they park it out there. Are they going to be illegal now? Or is Mr. Dowswell going to be the decider of what's right? Is he going to be the decider of who gets to drag a sign through town for the Mayfair every year? Okay. Or are they going to pay a fee? Is my wife's business going to pay a fee if they have a special going on? Is any business that has a special, every sandwich sign, every sign that you put up, they have to pay a $30 fee to the city? When is it going to end that you place fees on small businesses? When is it going to end? Okay? It has to come to an end. Everything can't be a revenue generation for this city. Everything can't be regulated by the decision of one man. It's not fair, it's not right, and it's not appropriate. There are so many exceptions to what you're talking about. There are so many variables to this. There are so many businesses that are going to be affected by this that it's ill-advised. It is not well thought out. It's a reaction to one man's request to have a sign, and then the planning department's and planning commission's decision to give some ultimate authority to one person to decide whether something is professionally done. Does that mean when someone grease pencils that we have a pastrami and soup special, if Mr. Dowswell doesn't like the way it's written, the sign is inappropriate, even if they pay the $30 fee? The only thing that has been said up here that is appropriate is by Mr. Charamello, that this needs to go back to be rethought about the implications of a law that you're being asked to impose on the businesses in this town that have implications far beyond what's being written. We don't need a sign Nazi. We don't need another fee. And we don't need regulations that have not been well thought out. And I would urge you to put this off and not act on it because it's ill-advised. There are so many businesses that are closing up in this town, and this is a revenue generation and an authority-given ordinance that really is ill-advised. And I would ask you not to approve it.
Okay. Thank you. Any other public comments? Yes, sir.
Hi, Ron Alexander, 965 Bounds Drive here in Dixon. Regarding this, I didn't read the documentation, but I'm against anything being on the sidewalk. Sidewalk is for pedestrians, not advertising, be it business or real estate. As I understand this, as mentioned before me, we can pay a fee to the city and put an A-frame sign out in front of our business. When Mr. Short has his mobile sign driving through Dixon, where we're asked to shop locally as a local businessman, I could see his point. But at the same point, Mr. Short is paying vehicle fees for the trailer. He's also paying the gas tax fees when he fills his vehicle up to pull that trailer around. And I think it's pretty innovative on his part to come up with that idea, really and truly.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alexander. Mr. Raska.
Drew Graskin, 540 Cypress. I just got a comment kind of on a tangent in reference to enforcement because I find it kind of ironic. We're talking about the right-of-way of sidewalks. And, you know, I just got to question the enforcement issue on it because the city can't even address or enforce bushes and shrubbery that are already encroaching into the sidewalks, whether it's residential or commercial. Another thing to think about.
All right, thank you, Mr. Graska. Any other public comment? Seeing none, I'll close.